Trump's initial tariff strategy sought to bolster his political standing. However, it inadvertently alienated allies and inflicted economic damage on American businesses, resulting in significant backlash. In response, Canada implemented targeted retaliatory tariffs, directly affecting key U.S. industries that supported Trump. This strategic maneuver aimed to exert political and economic pressure on the United States. As the trade conflict unfolded, Canada began diversifying its global trade partnerships, looking to strengthen economic ties with Europe and Asia, thus reducing its reliance on the U.S. market. The tariffs prompted a notable shift in consumer behavior, with over 80% of Canadians planning to reduce their purchases of American goods. This change significantly impacted U.S. sales, leading to sharp declines reported by retailers. Moreover, the boycott not only diminished revenue for American businesses, but also invigorated Canadian industries as consumers turned their focus toward local brands. This shift ultimately bolstered the Canadian economy amidst the trade conflict. Canada's defiance against U.S. trade policies garnered global attention, inspiring smaller nations. Countries like the EU and China began considering stronger ties with Canada as a counterbalance to U.S. aggression. However, the uncertainty looms over the Canadian auto industry as rising production costs due to imports threaten to prompt layoffs and escalate car prices for U.S. consumers. Simultaneously, U.S. farmers are facing financial losses as Canadian importers redirect their supply chains away from American products in favor of alternatives from Europe and Latin America. As Canada's stature as an energy powerhouse grows, investments are directed towards strengthening relationships with energy-hungry nations outside of North America, thereby reducing reliance on U.S. supplies. With Canadian shoppers increasingly avoiding American products, many companies are reporting steep declines in cross-border sales, leading them to seek local and international alternatives. Amidst this economic tension, Canada is channeling investments into homegrown innovation, fostering partnerships with European and Asian tech firms to diminish reliance on U.S. imports. Within the agricultural sector, Canada is undergoing transformation, supported by government programs aimed at enhancing domestic food production and minimizing dependence on U.S. suppliers, while creating new opportunities for local producers. State governors from regions reliant on trade are expressing their apprehensions about tariffs, fearing that potential economic retaliation from Canada could adversely affect their local economies. The Chamber of Commerce, typically aligned with Republicans, is now opposing Trump's tariffs, urging lawmakers to reconsider their stance in order to safeguard businesses. Public sentiment in Canada is declining, with trust in the U.S. at an unprecedented low. This shift could cultivate long-term changes in purchasing behavior and trade relationships. The U.S. faces challenges due to its lack of refining capacity and oil reserves that Canada possesses, complicating efforts to increase domestic drilling and exposing limitations in U.S. energy independence. Furthermore, the rise of energy nationalism symbolizes a global shift where countries prioritize their energy security over international cooperation, increasingly hoarding resources and utilizing energy as a geopolitical instrument. China's dominance in renewable energy technology positions it as a potential superpower, as it controls significant supply chains for critical materials. This underscores the pivotal role of innovation in clean energy for global leadership.